here's how money works in the United States. So in 1935, the United States government made it illegal for you to actually own gold. Gold was worth $35 an ounce, but the United States government taxed its own citizens by saying, hey, it's illegal for you to own gold, so we're going to make it punishable by putting you in prison or fining you $10,000 unless you sell us your gold back. So the government acquired tons of gold back from its own citizens, but at $25 an ounce when it was worth $35. So the government did that to recover from the Great Depression and the stock market crash of 1929. Shortly after 1935, we went to war. Now, if you understand economics, war is good for economics because it causes us to have to manufacture, make weapons, people have jobs, the food supply, food has to get shipped overseas, all of that different stuff. When we came out of World War II, Europe and a lot of the world looked at the US and said, hey, they did pretty good. Economically on a global level, the world is so unstable. What do? We need a world reserve currency. So there was something called the Bretton Woods Agreement, which basically all these countries and leaders got together and they decided that the US dollar would be the world reserve currency, meaning that they would use US dollar. Okay, the US dollar remained backed by gold. That's where that saying as good as gold comes in, until 1971, when Richard Nixon took away the gold standard. Then we became what's called the petrodollar. We just threw something else behind it and said, well, we'll still be the world reserve currency, but we're backed by energy, we're backed by oil, all this different stuff. But then when Biden went into office, he took down the Keystone XL pipeline, which manipulated the price of oil. It fucked that. And then we withdrew from Afghanistan. What does this have to do with money? What you don't understand is that Saudi Arabia's oil reserves are in the Persian Gulf. And the Persian Gulf, what's on the other side of it? Middle Eastern countries that do not get along with Saudi Arabia. So when we took down our pipeline, we had this whole green initiative, and we decided to withdraw from Afghanistan. It was a big middle finger to Saudi Arabia because they said, oh, they're not good for their word. They're not protecting our oil interests as they promised. And so what ended up happening is the BRICS nations became stronger. That stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Saudi Arabia. And presently, BRICS is trying to get away with not using the US dollar and conduct trade amongst a coalition of other countries without needing the US dollar. Now, they currently represent 1/3 of the gross domestic product of the entire world without needing the US dollar. And so that's why during economically uncertain times, you see the government buy back a record-breaking amount of silver, gold, precious metals. So maybe you should too. Gold is real, paper is fake.